When a wilderness expert encounters a Chinese region populated with protected animals, it sparks an unexpected outcome. Initially, it seemed like hitting a steel plate, but Ed Stafford managed to break the curse of being hungry for 3 days and 9 meals. He enjoyed delicious lobster skewers, ripe wild loquats, and sweet, juicy plums, all nourished by mountain spring water and made into snail soup. His quality of life far surpassed that of the Japanese emperor. In this episode, Ed Stafford visits the karst mountains of Guilin in Guangxi, China. The terrain is rugged, with venomous snakes everywhere, and the weather is unpredictable, demanding his full attention. He travels deep into the mountains on a fisherman's bamboo raft, landing after half an hour. From there, he moves away from the river to find a feng shui spot ideal for wilderness survival. After showing his unchanged equipment to the camera, Stafford sets off with his backpack. Barefoot, he treads on the jagged rocks, risking injury, and navigates through tree-covered cliffs ready to claim any careless life. He remains vigilant, especially for venomous snakes, having been warned about their abundance in these woods. Just hours in, he spots a banded crate in the grass, raising his adrenaline, but not enough to disturb his seasoned composure. After trekking further, he finds a cave suitable for shelter. Though damp, it provides sufficient protection from the elements, prompting him to set up camp temporarily. Exhausted from the journey, Stafford looks nearby for something to energize himself and quickly finds a grasshopper on a rock. Without fuss, he crunches it down. He continues searching and soon catches another, removing the inedible wings and consuming the rest. The barbed legs almost made him take off, but after enjoying this simple appetizer, he finds the grass outside the cave more comfortable than its hard, damp walls. With no rain in the forecast, he sleeps on the ground, enduring a painfully cold night. The next day, chilled by the low temperatures, Stafford looks for food and water. He finds plants similar to those back in the UK, like plantain seeds rich in protein and minerals, perfect for a salad. He also discovers wood sorrel, which tastes like lemons. He picks larger leaves to make cups, fills them with wood sorrel, adds bright red snakeberries for color, and sprinkles on plantain seeds. The resulting fruit and vegetable salad is tangy, refreshing, and juicy. Though not abundant, it's enough to lift his spirits. After a cold, wet night, starting a fire becomes his next challenge. The damp climate makes it difficult to find suitable materials, but he finds a small patch of bamboo, often called the hardware store of the jungle. He uses dead bamboo, an excellent tinder, to make a fire saw. He scrapes shavings for tinder, places them in the center of a bamboo piece, and uses another piece to create friction. Though it sounds easy, the cold and damp conditions prevent him from producing sparks, forcing him to suppress his frustration and spend another night on the grass. Unexpectedly, rain started falling at midnight. Ed Stafford moved his equipment to the cave, thankful that it was secure enough to prevent any water from seeping in. The rain continued until dawn, but Stafford didn't have time to wait it out, as he had already decided to leave and find a new campsite with better sunlight and lower humidity. Shivering, he trekked for a long time until the weather cleared and the temperature rose slightly. Along the way, Stafford found a plum tree by the roadside with ripe yellow plums falling to the ground for easy picking. Eating the sweet fruit improved his mood significantly, lifting him from his previous drenched spirits. Fortunate to find such a tree, he gathered several pounds of plums, ensuring he wouldn't go hungry. Wandering through the mountains, he found some sour green plants dock. True to their name, they were slightly acidic. Stafford wouldn't pass up any chance to consume energy, although they were a bit tough, like chewing on wood. Additionally, Stafford found a nightshade plant with black berries. Some say they are edible, others say they are poisonous. Stafford didn't dare eat them, as unripe green nightshade berries contain high levels of toxic solanine, although the ripe black fruits are edible. Nevertheless, he was cautious. As Stafford searched for a new campsite, he was constantly foraging. Upon finding a bamboo grove, he stopped to pick bamboo shoots, eating as he searched for a campsite. After another half hour of trekking, he found a flat area around a pomelo tree with open terrain and abundant sunlight. Exactly what he was looking for. Using the tree and nearby slope, he quickly sketched a shelter in his mind. He collected bamboo from a nearby grove to create a double-sloped roof frame, anchoring one end to the tree trunk and the other into the slope. He then tied a crossbeam on each side to add stability with additional bamboo supports. Next, he covered the structure with banana leaves. After busy preparations, he managed to complete the basic roof before dark, ensuring he wouldn't get rained on at night. With the remaining bamboo and banana leaves, he improvised a bed, keeping him warm and off the cold ground even without a fire. On the fourth day, determined to make a fire, Stafford had endured a night of waking up cold. The roof was still primitive and couldn't withstand a storm, so he first cut several bundles of wild grass to layer on the roof's sides, securing it with bamboo to enhance the shelter's protection. Now focused on making a fire, he tried the bamboo fire saw again. This time, the environment and materials were drier, and he was more prepared. Learning from his previous failure, he stabilized the fire saw with a folded piece of underwear against his chest to eliminate any movement. Successfully creating sparks, he blew gently and soon had a roaring fire. Looking at the burning flames, Stafford felt a huge relief. Now he could go searching for food. Nearby, he found a loquat tree with many ripe fruits fallen to the ground. He collected a large handful of loquats, enjoying their delicious taste. Considering the importance of sleep for survival, Stafford decided to upgrade his bed. He dug up stones from the ground to build 2 low walls inside the shelter, filling the gaps with mud for stability. He then placed bamboo on top to form a bed frame and covered it with elastic banana leaves, completing his upgraded bed. That night, Stafford sat by the fire eating loquats, significantly boosting his happiness index. Awakening the next day, he felt refreshed and energetic, ready to make the most of his days ahead. The terrain in the mountains was too complex, so Ed Stafford once again used advanced technology. He deployed a drone to discover a river leading to a cave, suspecting it would contain ample food. Determined to explore, he decided to make torches for illumination inside the cave. He found a pine forest and collected resin from the pine trees, then melted the resin in a fresh bamboo tube over a fire. He thoroughly mixed in some wood shavings and stuffed them into the bamboo tube soaked with flammable resin, making 2 torches of different sizes. Using a fresh bamboo tube to contain the smoldering material, he quickly carried it to the cave entrance and ignited a fire to light the torches. As he walked deeper into the cave, it became narrower and darker until he saw a light ahead. He discovered a deep sinkhole, but the river below had little in the way of fish or other animals, only some snails. Using the torch as a light, Stafford collected 32 snails from the water. It wasn't a large haul, but still a victory. Since the cave didn't require further exploration, Stafford planned to gather some spices to cook the snails for dinner. He found wild onions in the mountains, easily spotted by their white flowers in the grass. Looking around, he also came across a taro plant and dug up a tuber that could provide carbohydrates. With these ingredients, his dinner was ready to prepare. He filled a thicker bamboo tube with water, added the cleaned snails and taro, which he bit into smaller pieces, and 3 wild onions. Stafford knew how to make do with his culinary skills. He placed it over the fire to cook for a long time until it was well cooked as night fell. Eagerly, he sat in front of the camera to eat. The taro was like unsalted cooked potatoes, the onions were sharply flavorful, and the snails were fresh and tasty. He finished by drinking the delicious broth, praising the meal enthusiastically, and cleaning the pot completely. Although he couldn't describe his life as luxurious, it was much better than at the start. On the 9th day, Stafford knew he needed a real protein feast to satisfy his stomach and to have something to report back to the show. He found a stream in the mountains, home to crayfish and crabs, which were not very fast, making them relatively easy to catch. Stafford felt like he was in Eden, harvesting all the crayfish and crabs he saw. After a while, he brought back 10 crayfish and 3 crabs, skewered them, and grilled them over the fire. In just 10 minutes, they were crisply done on the outside and tender inside. Facing the camera, Stafford smiled like a true food lover, peeling the crayfish and popping the meat into his mouth, satisfied with the tender taste. While it wasn't the same as devouring large chunks of meat like lamb, the variety in his diet did justice to his reputation as a wilderness expert. After enjoying this relatively lavish meal, he woke up ready to leave the next day. Before leaving, adhering to the principle of not leaving anything behind for others to find, Stafford meticulously dismantled the shelter. He then packed his equipment and walked out of the mountains, successfully concluding this survival challenge.